This is project 1A in Excel, and we're doing objective 1, create, save, and navigate an Excel workbook, activity 1.01. So start Excel, which we've already done. Zoom level should be 100%, that's down here. In the upper left corner of your screen, click the File tab, and this takes us to what they call the Backstage view. Now this looks different because I'm using Excel 2013, but what we want to do is we want to save this, so do a save as, and I'm going to go to my computer and I'm going to browse, and I'm going to go to OneDrive, and the folder for this class, and I'm going to call this, I'm not going to create a new folder, I'm just going to save it with the given name, last name underscore, first name underscore 1A underscore quarterly underscore sales, and click save. And they ask us to examine the window, which you can do on your own. And now we're on activity 1.02. And in the lower right hand corner, we want to click to scroll horizontally. And we see we've got a lot of columns there. And then we're going to drag the box, the scroll box, back to the left, and now we're back in column A. In the lower left portion of your screen, click the Sheet 2 tab. There is not a Sheet 2 tab in the 2013 version, but you can add one by clicking on the plus sign here. In 2010, I think there's just a little yellow star that you click instead. In the vertical scroll bar, click the down arrow. And so we're just kind of finding our way around the screen here, and then it tells us to go back to sheet 1. And so now we're in A1, and notice it always tells you what cell you're in right here. This is called the name box, and normally what you just see is the cell, which is always the letter followed by the number. And now we want to enter some data. We're on objective 2, activity 1.03. And we're going to enter some text. We want to be on the Sheet 1 tab, and we want to go to A1 to make it the active cell, and we want to type in some text here. Texas Spectrum Wireless, and hit enter. It takes us down to the next row, and also notice that it spills over into B and C as long as there's nothing in B and C. If we put stuff in B and C, then it will get truncated. Now in A2 we want to enter the data first, quarter, accessory sales. Press enter. Now we're down in A3. We want to skip a row here, so we're going to go down to A4. We're going to type in headsets. And in A5, type the letter H. And it tries to do this autocomplete thing for us. A lot of times you have repeating values in a column, so it makes it easy to enter repeating values like that. But what we want is something different, so we're going to type in holster / cases, and in A6 we're going to type car kits. A7 gets batteries, and A8 gets total. And it says go to the quick access toolbar up here and click on save. No, you can also do that with a Control S. And now we're on activity 1.04 using autofill and keyboard shortcuts. And we want to go to cell B3. You can either click up here or use the arrow keys to navigate up there. Type the letter J, and they tell you to notice that up on the formula bar up here you also get a copy of what you have in the current cell. and we're going to put in January and hit enter. They also tell you that when you type something in, you can click on the green. Let me double click on this and change it, and you can click on the check mark up here, but I don't know why you would do that. I think it's green on earlier versions of Excel. Okay, and now what we want to do is Excel has a feature called Autofill that lets us take months and days, months of the year, days of the week, and automatically fill them in for us. Now notice that most of the time in here you've got a big fat white plus sign for your cursor. That's how you select data. You just click and drag, click and drag, click and drag, and you can select any range you want to. And if you want to select non-adjacent ranges, let go of the mouse, hold the control key down just like anything else, and you can click and drag and select any range out here that you want to select. But if you move the cursor around the edge of the selected cell here, most of the time you get a four-headed arrow, and you know what that means. That means that you can move it now. So if I click and drag here with the four-headed arrow, January moves down there, but I want to undo that. But if you go to the lower right-hand corner where that little green square is, and you position the cursor there, you get a skinny black plus sign, which is called the fill handle, and it's used to copy. And if I've got a month or a day in a cell, and I get the fill handle and copy it to the right or down, it fills in consecutive months, or if I had days in there, it would fill in consecutive days. And so we have January, February, and March in there now, and we want to do a control home. This works the same as it does in Word to move to cell A1, and we want to save it, and that takes us to the end of activity 1.04, and now we're on activity 1.05. And we want to go between columns A and B here. Notice when you move between two columns, you get a double-headed arrow, which means you can resize. Same thing happens over here. If I want to make a row taller, just go to the bottom of it and click and drag with the two-headed arrow, but I want to undo that. And now I want to go to between column A and B, and I want to get the two-headed arrow, and I want to widen this until it gets to 100 pixels. And then I want to go to B3, which is where January is. And I want to select B3, C3, and D3, which is these three cells right here. And our screen should now look like it does on figure 1.13. And this is called a range. And a range is indicated on number 4 now by using the first cell and then a colon and then the last cell. So we'll use that in formulas later. So I've got these selected, and now I want to go to the alignment group. Actually, he says to use the mini toolbar. I usually don't use that, but go to the alignment group and click on center, and it will center the names, and then he says go click on save. Okay. And now what we want to do is go to activity 1.06, and under January I want to go to B4, and we want to type in some numbers. I'm going to type in the numbers that are in item 2 here in activity 1.06, and I'm just going to pause the video while I type those in. Okay, I've got all the numbers typed in, and it says to compare our numbers with the numbers that in figure 1.15, and I think they're all correct. If they're not, we can always go back and fix them some other time. Now we're on activity objective 3, activity 1.07, and what we want to do is we want to add up some columns of numbers here. So go to B8, which is underneath the column of numbers for January, and what we want to type is a formula. Formulas always start with an equal sign, so type an equal sign. Notice again that it's mirrored up here on the formula bar, but most of the time you're probably going to work down here. And we want to type B4 plus B5 plus B6 plus B7. And notice that each term is assigned a color, and that colored is used to draw a box around the corresponding cell. And then hit enter, and it puts in the sum for us, and we will stop there, and we will pick up with the rest of this on video number 2.